Lukas expected America to disappoint him. 3 weeks later, he was crying in a stranger's backyard, holding a plate of food he didn't order and couldn't pay for. Here's what happened in between. Let's call him Lukas, a character inspired by the experiences many visiting fans shared during the 2026 World Cup. Lukas grew up 15 minutes from a stadium that sold out every single Bundesliga match since before he was born. Football wasn't a sport where he came from. It was a language everyone spoke. So when he heard the 2026 World Cup was being split between the United States, Mexico, and Canada, 16 cities, 3 countries, the biggest tournament ever built. His first reaction wasn't excitement, it was doubt. In his head, America was a country of huge cars, fast food, and a sport called soccer that nobody actually cared about. His friends warned him too: expensive, loud, rude, everyone in a rush, nobody making eye contact. So he made a decision before he even landed. He was there for the football, nothing more. Fly in, watch the group stage match, fly home. No expectations, no illusions. And honestly, he wasn't being unfair. For years, international headlines about America haven't exactly sold the friendly neighbor version of the country, but the ticket was already bought. The World Cup doesn't wait for anyone's opinion, so Lukas landed, guarded, skeptical, and ready to be disappointed. His first stop was Boston, a city that, for one summer, had basically renamed itself. Thousands of Scottish fans had flooded in for their group stage match, and the whole city leaned into it. Locals started jokingly calling it New Scotland for the week. Lukas, meanwhile, was just lost. Wrong subway line, dead phone, and a stadium shuttle system that made zero sense to someone who'd never needed one before. That's when Emily found him. Not a police officer, not stadium staff, a volunteer, one of nearly 50,000 spread across all 16 host cities for this tournament, wearing the same bright green and blue uniform he'd seen all morning. She didn't wait for him to ask, she just said, "You look lost. Where are you headed?" In perfect, patient English, she walked him through which line to take, which exit to use, even which food truck was worth the wait. Lukas hadn't asked for any of it. In fact, part of him expected her to walk away the second she realized he wasn't a paying customer of anything. She didn't. She stayed until his train actually arrived. Not everything on this trip was perfect. A few days later, waiting for a shuttle after a match in Kansas City, Lukas got stranded for almost 3 hours in heavy rain. Phone dead. No idea which line was his. It was miserable. And for a moment, it felt like his original expectations had been right all along. Then another fan waiting in the same downpour offered him half of an umbrella and a ride into the city. A total stranger, going out of his way for someone he'd known for 4 minutes. That contrast stuck with him more than any single good moment could have. Days later, outside a stadium in Texas, a local waved him over to a tailgate. No invitation needed, no explanation required. Someone handed him a plate of food before he'd even said his name. When Lukas tried to pay for it, the man just shrugged. "Why are you doing this? You don't know me," Lukas asked. "You came a long way for this," the local said. "Least we can do is feed you." Later that same trip, a local kid, maybe 10 years old, traded his hand-drawn USA scarf for Lukas's real German one, dead serious about the deal, like he'd just won the lottery. Lukas's trip wasn't an isolated case. Across the tournament, fans posted thousands of similar clips on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, arriving braced for indifference and leaving overwhelmed by the opposite. One comment, shared everywhere, summed it up better than any headline could. The World Cup felt like America having a giant sleepover with the cousins it never gets to see because the parents don't get along. So here's the real question. If this kindness was so common, why did almost nobody expect it? Because the version of a country you see on the news is never the same as the version you meet at a tailgate. Division travels faster than kindness. Conflict gets clicks. A stranger handing you a plate of food or half an umbrella in the rain doesn't usually make the evening news. Nobody built an algorithm to reward a Texan feeding a German for free. But for 6 weeks, the World Cup did something headlines couldn't. It put a face on the country instead of a headline. Back in Boston, Emily was on her 9th shift of the tournament. Still unpaid, still in the same uniform, still staying late helping fans who'd missed their trains. Someone finally asked her why she'd give up her summer for strangers who'll never see her again. Her answer was simple: "I wanted them to remember us right, not the version they see online, the real one." That answer somehow made its way back to Lukas, weeks later, through a fan group chat that had stayed alive since Boston, and it reframed everything he'd experienced. This wasn't random luck. It was intentional. People had shown up, as volunteers, as strangers, as hosts, specifically hoping visitors like him would leave with a different story than the one they arrived with. On his final night before flying home, Lukas ended up at one more gathering. No cameras, no plan, just fans and locals sharing one last meal before the tournament moved to its next city. Someone asked him what he'd tell his friends back home now. For the first time on the whole trip, Lukas didn't have a quick answer ready. Then he said it, quietly, almost to himself. I came to watch football. I ended up discovering people. He flew home with a kid's hand-drawn scarf folded in his suitcase instead of his own. And somehow, that felt like the better trade. The World Cup gave Lukas 90 minutes of football. America gave him a story he'll tell for the rest of his life. If this story moved you, that's exactly why this channel exists. Finding the moments football almost misses. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Drop a like if Lukas's story stayed with you, and tell us in the comments. Has a stranger ever surprised you the way this trip surprised you?